Welcome to the city of Gangneung here in the east coast of the Republic of Korea. It is day 4 coverage of the 2017 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. We take a look at Gangneung Olympic Park and some of the venues that will be used next year at the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Things are starting to take shape here at the Gangneung Hockey Center as we get set for a full day of action. 7 teams continue their quest for automatic qualification to the 2018 games and for gold here at the World Championships. We welcome you inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. It is day 4, game number 1, and it features a pair of undefeated teams as Canada gets set to take on the host Republic of Korea. With you for today's coverage, as always, I am Mike Kelly alongside Brent Pope, and we have a couple of undefeated teams. We've got the Canadians coming off a huge win, 17-0 over Sweden. The Republic of Korea, a thrilling victory last night against Norway, but now they have to go from playing the late game on day 3 to the early game here on day 4.
Republic of Korea, the 2 games they've played, they've scored 4 goals total. Canada have played 3 games and they've scored 33. So a real difference in offensive output, but ultimately, they're both undefeated. And the Republic of Korea, with those 2 tight 2-1 victories, get into this position here. The challenge for them, though, is they played the last game last night, the first one today. Canada played in the afternoon yesterday, but they did have a day off, though, Republic of Korea, on day 2 of this competition. But this will be their sternest test so far, without doubt, as Canada are looking in great form as we look at the table.
Yeah, if you wonder whether or not the Republic of Korea may be a little fatigued having played that late game, Canada might be fatigued as well. They scored 17 goals. That's bound to take a lot out of any team in these World Championships. So as you see Canada sitting in first place, that massive goal differential. The United States, they've only played 2 games, so room for them to move as well. Earlier, a little bit earlier, Brent, you had the chance to catch up with Korean head coach Cho Byung-suk, and that is what we will send it down right now to hear from the head coach.
Healthy? Any lineup changes for today's game?
Yeah, it's a little bit changes. First, number 27, the Team Korea player is match penalty. So how many game I don't know. So stop games I don't know. But so and number 31 goalie is today start lineup is Yu Mangyun Yu. He is today play the goalie. So yesterday goalie is today is a break time, so changes goalie change.
Talk a little bit about your superstar number 14, Young Sing-won. How important is he to the Republic of Korea?
So his point is 3 point maybe. So 2 goals, 1 assist. But today maybe it's just a 1 point or 2 points. So he can do that. So we hopefully today game.
You talk a little bit about your goaltenders. Both of your goaltenders have played. The decision you make today is just to share the ice time, or do you have a number 1 or a number 2 goaltender?
So I don't know. So 2 goalie is a very big goalie. It's number 2. It's Jaeung Lee is a young player, and Mangyun Ryu is a number 31. Is a big interesting. It's a very big exciting. So number 2 goalie is a very good. So we select today game select 31. So Mangyun Ryu.
And finally, against Canada, a very good team. They're 3 wins from 3 games. You're 2 wins from 2 games. What's the Republic of Korea's game plan for Canada?
We prepared at the smart game. So Team Canada is a very good skating, and so counter is good. So game is very it's a big check, it's a big shot, big many shot. But today game is a focused breakout and neutral zone and attack zone is a dump check, and so we are a defense system. So I think that's a great day, great game. So hopefully.
We wish you the best of luck, and we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And there you heard it. There is really no waiting around for Republic of Korea. They know they've got their hands full in taking on Canada here today. And of course, they've got a few important weapons to be looking out for as they've been involved in the scoring so far. Jung Si-won, who has 3 points on the 4 goals they have scored, he'll be one that's going to be counted on today.
Absolutely. He is such a speedy player for this Republic of Korea team. And Jung Si-won in the first couple of games of this tournament has shown that electric speed. He's got 2 goals, 1 assist. The team has scored 4 goals, so he's contributed half of their goal scoring already in this tournament. And he got the Koreans on the board early against Norway. When you watch him play, you just see not only does he have the great quick hands, which you saw were on display there with that goal, but he's so fast and so creative around the ice. He's not a very big player, but his speed allows him to get to those open areas and to create offense. And I misspoke a little bit earlier. Cho Byung-suk, actually, obviously not the coach for the Korean team. He is a player on this team, and he's a player that's been suspended for this game.
Yeah, it's our first time that we've had a suspension in the tournament, and there was a little bit of an incident there in that game yesterday against Norway, and we'll have a look at it here. As actually he gets the puck on his stick. He's coming through the neutral zone, and it's Oseth for Norway that comes in to try to, of course, engage him and try to, strip him of the puck. But the challenge was, I think, last second, he gets the sled up there, and it goes into the midsection of Oseth, and there you see him down. Fortunately, he did actually leave the hospital. He was in hospital last night just as a precaution, but we understand that he has left the hospital. He has been checked out, and we hope he's in good recovering health and will be back potentially in the Norwegian lineup, but we await that. At least we know that he's fine. But the way he left the ice last night on the sled here, actually in a stretcher, it was concerning. It certainly fell quiet inside the Gangneung Hockey Center, as that was an awkward collision, an uncertain moment for both players at the time.
Yeah, tough loss in this game for the Republic of Korea, but great news obviously to hear the Norwegian player is doing well. A little bit earlier, you also had a chance to catch up with Canadian head coach Ken Babby, who knows that he'll have his hands full with a Republic of Korea team that has shown a lot of speed and skill so far in this tournament.
Starting your 4th game, Republic of Korea today, any lineup changes?
Yeah, Ben Delaney's out today for maintenance, just to get a little bit of rest, and Kevin Sorley draws in it.
Yesterday, you have an overwhelming result against Sweden, 17-0. Talk a little bit about that. It ties a Canadian record at the World Championships from 2 years ago in Buffalo.
Well, I think the guys did a great job sticking with the game plan, and because of that, we were rewarded with a good game, and we scored a lot of goals, and I like the way our guys stayed with the game plan throughout and didn't get selfish, and played with their line mates and shared the puck, and our leaders need some credit for leading that way.
You've had a great tournament so far. Now you take on the host, Republic of Korea. Talk a little bit about what you expect from them today.
Well, I think Korea is a very good team. I think they're going to play us hard. They're well coached. They work hard. They're physical and they're big. So I think they're going to give us a real strong game today, and we're looking forward to that challenge. I mean, we just played here a little while ago, so now to play this morning against them in a strong game, and it's going to be a good game.
And finally, Coach, you've had so many great performances. 3 players with hat tricks yesterday, but a standout performance from Adam Dixon, 2 goals and 7 assists. Talk about the importance of him on the back end with Bowden and how they're playing.
Well, both those players give us an offensive option from the back end, and both of them can score at any time. And, Adam has consistently played well offensively for our team, and he leads the way, and he just creates so many opportunities for the other players also on the ice. So, we're fortunate to have him and the way he's playing, and then also to have Brad, so it really gives us some depth back there.
We wish you the best of luck today, and good luck against Republic of Korea.
Thank you very much.
And interesting listening to the comments there from Coach Ken Babby. Actually very grateful and thankful to have a player like Adam Dixon on his team. And it's interesting that because a coach is only as good as the players he has on the ice and how they perform. And there's that old adage as well, show me a good goaltender and I'll show you a good coach. And Ken Babby right now has had good performances throughout the entire lineup, but Adam Dixon has stood out for him, and he really spearheads things from the back end.
Does he ever? There's great puck movement from the back end, and Dixon is kind of like a rover in the way that he plays. We talked a little bit earlier about how Canada had 3 players in that game against Sweden with hat tricks. As you see Ulf Nilsson just throwing his stick up in the air. He doesn't know what to make of it. Even with the players with the hat tricks, it was Adam Dixon who was the leading scorer in the game. He had 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points in one game. An unbelievable performance. And as we sit here entering play on day 4, it is Dixon who's the leading scorer in this tournament. He's got 14 points overall. It's actually Canadians that make up the top 4 point scorers so far in this tournament. They have played that one more game than the United States of America, so that may get a little bit leveled as the U.S. is also a powerhouse. But Dixon and Bowden on the back end, it's really been a difference for Canada.
They certainly are. They just give them a different element now all of a sudden with Bowden now back there. And I think it's been a very strategic and a very crucial move, or a pivotal move for Canada, making that decision. It just gives them two tandems at the back end that can rotate, be mobile, be active, and they're so keen and so good instinctively at getting to those loose pucks in the offensive zone that Canada has had to play very little defense in this tournament so far.
They haven't even allowed 10 shots yet through 3 games, so the shots on goal have been very minimal, but this Republic of Korea team could present some challenges as they have some speed of their own. We are just moments away from puck drop as we get set for game number 1 here on day 4. It is Canada and the host nation, Republic of Korea, coming up in moments.
And welcome back to our Game Day 4 coverage as the referees and linesmen out on the ice. And of course, in charge as well for this one, it is going to be Jonathan Morrison, the American, who has the duties as the referee. And on his lines, the Austrian David Nothiger and the Czech Jan Vanek, the 2 linesmen for this hockey game. As now you see Korea in white making their way out. And they are ready. Of course, they were just on this ice sheet, but hours ago. A real tight turnaround. 7 o'clock last night here in the Republic of Korea. And then, of course, 11 o'clock here today. So a real short turnaround, just probably a little bit over 13, 14 hours by the time they left the building here last night. And in goal, the opportunity goes back to Corbin Watson as the balance of distribution of goaltending time for Canada in the tournament so far.
Corbin Watson hasn't been too busy so far in the game that he did play. He only had to make 2 saves. We take a look at the roster here for the Republic of Korea. We focused on him so much. Number 14, Jung Si-won. He's been terrific. Starting in goal in this game, it will be Yu Mang-yun for the Republic of Korea. He's played 1 of the 2 games for this team, stopped 9 out of 10 shots. They kind of go with a rotating goaltending situation here with this team. There's no clear-cut number 1. Both of these goaltenders capable.
Well, it was the comments of the coach talking about the size of you and maybe a little bit of a better shot blocker potentially. They expect a lot of volume of shots today against Canada. So in that situation, as you see, Republic of Korea, the last ones to break from their formation in front of their goal, there is a real discussion about what they're going to face today. It's going to have to be a great defensive performance from them.
Well, it's going to come early and often from the Canadians in terms of offense. You have to imagine, again, those top 2 lines, Westlake, Cozzolino, McGregor, and then Bridges, Armstrong, Hickey, certainly capable. They've generated a ton of offense, and you don't discount the 3rd line either with Corbin Smith, Sholomicki, and Kevin Sorley is back in the lineup for Canada. He missed the last game with an injury after taking a bit of a rough ride in the first game against Norway. So drawing back in is Kevin Sorley. Ben Delaney is the player coming out on the front end for Canada. James Gemmell also scratched for the Canadians.
Well, interestingly, the comments there from Coach Ken Babby talking, they scored 8 goals in the first period, 4 in the second. They had 12, as we say, after 30 minutes of play against Sweden. But he basically went in the latter stage of that game with his 3rd line as his lead line in that game, and they still went and scored a further 5 goals. So you really can't even say with Canada that you got a 1-2-3 punch. It's really just whichever one you want to throw out at the time is just as good as the other.
Yeah, I mean, Canada wasn't taking the foot off the gas pedal by any means in that game. You saw them applying pressure the whole way through as we take a look at head coach Ken Babby. But the second and third period, Canada did start with its 3rd line. They played the 3rd line more than the others. So there was that element from the Canadians. They weren't trying to stack their lineup on every shift and load things up too much. As we take a look at the goaltender for the Republic of Korea, the Canadians chased the starting goaltender yesterday. We'll see how long and if the entire game can be managed by Yu Mang-yun.
It will be, of course, the sternest test for Republic of Korea. Both of their victories, as we say, just 2-1 victories over Germany, over Norway. They had a day off in between, and this one is a tight turnaround. Maybe it's just a good thing. They can ride high on momentum as Corbin Watson, I'm not sure just how many shots he faced of the 10 so far from Canada, but very little volume on the Canadian goal. As you see Westlake coming across, and that is Jung, who is Jang Jung-ho, rather, the captain for Republic of Korea, and they all shake hands. Great scenes there, just the smiles amongst everybody as they exchange gifts as well. Great spirit in Paralympic sport as we are set and ready to go. It's Gangneung Ho in against Westlake. And it will be Westlake who takes it quickly. Cozzolino tries to get a piece of it. This is good work, and you see just how spirited Republic of Korea are right off that opening face-off as Bowden is being harassed, and the contact as well. He comments from Coach Ken Babby talking that this Republic of Korea team are big, they're physical, they like to play a physical brand of para ice hockey as well, so that'll be something to look to employ. Watch Bowden roll, Bowden with a whistler up over the top of goal, and that really could have been the first shot, but it goes wide as Bowden just gets a little daylight through the Korean defense, and he almost exploits them. As here's a give and go, and they're looking strong, Canada, to start.
No question about it. We see the speed, and here's an opportunity. Westlake puts it off the post. He had a wide open net there. We talked about it yesterday. Westlake somehow unable to register a point in a 17-0 win against Sweden, and he looked to get Canada on the board early, but rings it right off the pipe.
And a little bit of good grace for the hosts so far as they avoid conceding the opening goal of this game. They continue to work. It's the same lineup here with McGregor, Cozzolino, and Westlake. They are peppering the goal, and they are all over that puck right now, and the Koreans are really disheveled in their own zone. They're just trying desperately just to hold their shape. Canada making line changes from the offensive zone as well as they retreat to their bench area. And some new forces out there. Hickey is out there, and our first look, Adam Dixon with a huge hit coming down low, and there's a defenseman again, so aggressive offensively. And this from the blue line is Henry will get it across to Dixon.
Dixon not shy to play below the hash marks. We see him get into the offense. His Korean goaltender will get a whistle. Yu Meng-yun try to slow things down, but you talk about the line changes, Brent, and it's a good point that you bring up. Is Canada's able to change their lines and get tired defenders stuck out there, so they have a lot of energy on the ice, and Westlake going under the sled, going to the left hand and wrapping it around, but he rings it off the pipe and he looks skyward as he's saying, what do I have to do to get on the board here in day 4?
Well, it was interesting, one of those footnotes of the game, 17-0, and Westlake, the captain, and unable to record a point, but it's not about that. It's ultimately about, is Canada as a team collectively able to spearhead their game to return to world championship level and be gold medal winners at the end? And I'm sure Westlake would trade any of the individual plaudits for that crown and title again for his country.
No question about it, and what we've seen so far in the 3 games from Canada, the 2 games for the United States, I'd have a hard time saying one has been clearly better than the other. These two look very elite as Bridges with a hot shot down the wing, a nice save there.
And it's Dixon who comes right in there and picks up the rebound. It's just unreal. Right there, Bridges gets his hands tied up and gets handcuffed ultimately. I think the defenseman just gets a touch of him in time. Does number 20, Yang Dong-shin, and he just ties up Bridges because I think Bridges was just in a great position there to punch this one across the line.
No question, we see the speed with which the Canadians can attack. They get in over the neutral zone, a pinching defender there. He gets caught, so Bridges has an open look. A nice save from Yu Meng-yun to keep it out, and he gets the puck covered, gets a whistle here, 2.5 minutes in.
And the opening phases of this opening minute of the first period, it was actually Republic of Korea who went right at Canada trying to get some zone time, but ever since it's been the red and black and white right in camped inside this Korean end, and they are looking for more action. They haven't been able to breach Yu Meng-yun as yet, but they certainly are flirting with the idea of it. As here comes McGregor, and it's a hot shot there as it's a quick release. Again, the puck just bubbling around in front of that crease area. They aren't able to quite get the handle on it. As Cozzolino, for a moment, disrupted with his flow, but McGregor, who just invariably finds that puck on his stick all the time. Westlake again with a scorching release, and that blocker save from Yu Meng-yun. My goodness.
Westlake doesn't know what he has to do to please the hockey gods here and get himself on the score sheet. He's had a couple of great opportunities to open this game. You get a feeling it won't be long before he makes a difference. There's another shot right on, and another big save by Yu Meng-yun.
And it's one of these situations where the more shots that are obviously saved by the Korean keeper, of course, he gets more confident, but is there a good scoring chance here for Bowden, and a release, and again, Bowden maybe just gets rid of that one before he's quite set and balanced. Again, 2 elevated shots from Bowden right now, and I'm sure he'd like to have had a little more accuracy as they now scramble in front and look for anything that's left available. But the referee, Jonathan Morrison, right on top of it, he's sharp with the whistle.
Tyler McGregor The forward from Hamilton, Ontario, 23-year-old, not shy to go to the gritty areas and try to bang away at a loose puck. A nice play there by Gangneung to keep the puck out of the net and get a whistle for his team. As Dixon, you talk about the off-balance shot that he had. He sails it a little bit high over the net. And a good job by Canada so far applying pressure. You have to think that if it keeps up like this, it won't be too long before they find a way to get one in the back of the net.
Korea are currently bending defensively, and are Canada able just to be that straw that breaks their back defensively and get an opening goal? Billy Bridges plays a heavy game down low for Canada, and they will just rotate this puck again. Great movement, but they're just looking for that better goal scoring opportunity, a little bit of space that is not being afforded to them right now by the Republic of Korea. Can they in fact try to get on top of this puck in Canada's end zone for a moment and apply some puck pressure? They do. It's a good job by Henry. He holds it against the board. He's got to be careful there not to take a delay of game penalty, as we've seen that a couple times in this tournament, as now Watson gets a turnaround sidewinding strike taken in on him, and he's sharp to make a clean save.
Nice save there as the Republic of Korea gets an opportunity. 10:25 to go in period number 1. More action in a moment.
And Canada still at 10:25 in his first period, unable to score as yet, and that says a little bit, of course, about the quality of their opponent in this one, the Republic of Korea, with 2 victories, and of course playing good, confident hockey here as the hosts of these Para Ice Hockey World Championships in Gangneung. But again now, McGregor is going to come down. Dixon is a danger man from there. He'll slot one backside. Westlake, he just tries to carry it off Westlake, almost use him as a post just to redirect it, but he gets himself a little bit tied up with the speed of that delivery.
Well, the Republic of Korea can say they've done something nobody's been able to do against Canada in this tournament, and that is hold them off the scoreboard in the first 5 minutes of a game. So no icing here. The linesman waving it off. The Koreans managed to get a change, and it's been a good effort so far, as you mentioned earlier, bending but not breaking as Westlake drives the right side for Canada.
It's a big line change. It's one of the issues for Republic of Korea that we've seen in the tournament so far. They've been penalized for too many players on the ice, so when they make those line changes, they're often big movements that they all go as a 5-man unit. But here are Canada again flirting with that opening goal, and they are playing in and around the idea of getting it, but you're just wondering who is in fact going to grab or take the situation and grab it by the horns and get it across the line. And it's maybe us getting a little bit expectant of Canada because they've scored 33 goals in this tournament in the 3 games. So over double digits as an average score line. And of course they start so quick. And of course, as we've seen it all, we expect them to do the same here. But as we say, Republic of Korea equally undefeated in this tournament. And they're a team that just knows how to stay around in a hockey game and give themselves a chance to win come the end in the 3rd period.
Yeah, about a minute ago we saw McGregor crashing into the goal, and the goaltender Gangneung didn't like it. The Korean defenders didn't like it. You wonder if that was going to be an interference penalty perhaps, as the play is whistled down with a hand pass. No call on the play. The Koreans weren't particularly happy about it, and we'll keep an eye on things as they develop here. If Canada's maybe thinking they'll try to crash the crease here and find a way to get some offense that way.
There you see the hand pass that goes up. Sholomiki is the one who benefits from it, and as soon as he touches it, Jonathan Morrison, as you see right there, the American official, calls the play. And now for the restart, as it is going to be Bowden who takes it off. That's a hot little move from Bowden as he tucks that one into his pocket. Here comes Armstrong across the offensive blue line. Canada had strength in numbers, but well recovered by Republic of Korea. But look at Bowden. Bowden is as nifty as you would want to see as he comes right into the zone here for Canada. And he basically provides the passport into the offensive zone on the shift over the top. And if that's on target, I think maybe it would have just been a good enough of an angle of the trajectory over top Yu Min-young in the Korean goal.
Yeah, he was leaning the wrong way there. He was caught a little bit off balance on that blocker side. So if that was on goal, like you say, it might have trickled in over top of him. They used the blocker and the stick for balance.
And they just try to come and wrap around. It's Liam Hickey, who is maybe one of the lesser known. There's a big hit, and that's Arsenault, who takes one up high into the head area, and no penalty on the play. And that's often, sometimes it's pretty sensitive in the sport of para ice hockey, more so in all sport nowadays, any of these contacts in and around the head area. But this is Bridges now, who will just try to weave his way across the Bowden. Bridges, who would love, of course, to get it onto his forehand. Forehand, left hand, or right hand. Of course, that's the preferred shooting position for any player. And he's got force there, just having to handle it on the backhand side. And it's the interesting dimension about para ice hockey. They ultimately have 4 hands in which to handle the puck, as now it is Dixon, who goes a long ways back. Sholomicki able just to support this play, and Sholomicki comes up, but unable just to hold it in his grasp. And Smith will just try to provide equally some support here. So Republic of Korea, very stingy at their own blue line right now, making Canada have to rethink their approach.
Yeah, this is, in the first game against the Norwegians, Canada had their way with them, a 9-0 win. And Sweden, obviously that game got a little out of control pretty early in terms of the score. Italy presented a very physical matchup for Canada, but we're seeing a different challenge for them, as I think you could argue that this is the quickest team the Canadians have played. They don't have as much free ice, although a 2-on-1, potentially 3-on-1 shaping up here, as Smith just needs to get it to the front of the net.
Oh, what a save it is, as again, I'd say fantastic layoff, and then a cross-ice pass in front. But the most important part was how Yu Min-young stays with this play as Smith offloads to Sorley. Sorley with the movement, he gets his head up and he's ready to deliver it across in front of the goal. But watch Yu Min-young make the save.
Well, Sorley has a wide open Sholomicki here, and he just gets his heel of the stick on the puck. He wasn't able to get a clean shot away. If he does, there's a good chance that he might have a goal. He just heels it a little bit, and it trickles wide. One of Canada's better opportunities here as they send out their one of their top lines, kind of that 1A, 1B as we mentioned. This one centered by Westlake.
It's Westlake and McGregor in the corner out front. This is as good as they've had. What a great insert pass with speed and purpose from in behind the goal line. And Cozzolino again, but again, great collapsing defense on the Canadian forwards in front in that slot area.
Han Min-soo, number 68, the defenseman, 46 years old, getting in front of that shooting lane, finding a way to keep it out. He's playing in his 4th World Championship, so he's a veteran of the program, and a nice defensive play there.
A lot of smart puck movement from both teams here. Reverses, offloads, these little backhand shovel passes into an area for teams to respond to, and good weighted delivery. But this one from Republic of Korea, they're forced to take an icing under some pressure from the Canadians, as both teams giving as good as they can get right now physically. They're both as willing to engage in that game, and Republic of Korea not backing off from Canada at all on those stakes.
No question, they're not shy to play a physical game of hockey either here. You see a couple of hits being thrown by the Koreans, and the Canadians obviously will match anybody in that department. They're happy to play that game if that's the way that things go. We saw the game against Italy start to trend in that direction, and it got pretty physical, pretty nasty towards the end of the game. So we'll see if the physical element keeps up here as Canada pushing for the opening goal, and a great opportunity in front there. It's Armstrong.
It's scrappy in front. Armstrong maybe thought his own momentum was going to drag that puck in. Arsenault loses his skate edge and then ends up slipping and falling. He's back upright though. And of course, that's one of those things you take for granted. These players are always going to stay upright. There's so much work that goes in. But as stripped, here comes the Republic of Korea with a break. And this is going to be Lee Jong-kung out front. Here's the danger man, and they're going to score. Republic of Korea are on the board first,
but
it's
being
waved off.
The officials waving it off. They're citing goaltender interference as the crowd here goes absolutely wild. Everybody in the fans cheering, but immediately this is waved off as you see a bunch of bodies flocking towards the net. It was Jung Si-won with the shot, but going right into the goaltender there is the big body of Jang Jung-ho, number 55, and that's an easy call for the official.
And he's right on top of the play, and it happens so quick, and because of that great service to the man they want to have the puck on his stick, Jung Si-won, you expected that that was going to be a moment of real glory for the Republic of Korea, but maybe a little bit of an unfortunate one there. You go to the net, of course, and then we say how difficult it is to control as we have a break in play, and it's still scoreless. And back to action inside Gangneung Hockey Center. So no penalty on the play, and of course no goal as it was waved off. You saw that by the American official, and a real tough break for Republic of Korea because they manufactured that opportunity. They earned it. As actually they dispossessed Brad Bowden in the neutral zone and took it all the way down on the ice and made that odd man rush count, but they really kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Yeah, Lee Jung-young, the captain of the national team, the silver medal winning team of the 2012 World Championships. A nice shot here for the Canadians by McGregor, was stopped. He created a nice turnover in the neutral zone for the Republic of Korea, and Jang Jung-ho was going hard to the net. You have to think that with the shot possessed by Jung Si-won, he likely would have had a great chance to score if there wasn't contact anyway. So really unfortunate for the Koreans that that contact was made, as it was such a prime scoring opportunity. And I think that's how the Koreans are going to generate their chances in this game, with turnovers in the neutral zone, fast break opportunities, as opposed to trying to set up full rushes up the ice.
And they almost transition there, but Canada responds. A big hit coming across, and you're seeing Korea right now willing to engage. In fact, initiating the physical aspect of the game of pair ice hockey here with Canada. And they were able, as we say, breaking up some of these passing sequences from the Canadians in the neutral zone. You saw a long shot coming in from Jung Si-won as well, just clearing it the full length of the ice and seeing if he couldn't test Corbin Watson. And they're quite chancy, aren't they, Republic of Korea? Very opportunistic. But this is McGregor on the far right wing, and it actually isn't able to be controlled by Yu Meng-yun. And Dixon comes up with it. Dixon, very potent, and he just gives that second layer for Canada offensively. It's not a one and done show with Canada. They have one, they have a second chance. They still have a third one here, as Dixon is still patrolling and ultimately controlling things below that goal line.
Physical play again by the Republic of Korea. Number 6, Ryu Ji-hyun, with a big hit behind the net. One way to slow this Canadian team down is to throw the body around and try to make some bruising hits to create a turnover and give yourself an opportunity to clear the puck out of the zone.
Canada is trying to move it around, stretch this defense enough, and see if they can't just pull it apart and create a little bit of a seam that they can exploit, but they've not been able to. Republic of Korea have stretched with them, have been able to respond and adjust, but backside play to Bridges. And it's Yu Min-yun again, who has been a star player, and you would probably give him plaudits here in this first period that he has been the best player for Korea on the ice.
Absolutely, and we take a look at the replay of the scoring chance here. It's one thing that the Koreans have done that nobody's been able to do in this tournament, is keep Canada off the scoreboard for this long. And the fans here supporting the host nation are really starting to get into this game. Big round of applause after that save. Even though the goal was disallowed, the only time the puck's been in the back of a net in this game, it's come off a stick of a Korean player. As you see the speed here of Jung Si-won, one of the fastest players in the world. He only has one stick right now as he picks it up in the neutral zone again, but he was keeping pace with the Canadian player even with one stick in his hand.
It's absolutely remarkable what he was able to generate there. It's hard to find a comparable as to, with one stick in his hand, generating that same speed to be able to chase down Arsenault. As Bridges now across the ice, the offload down Armstrong. Armstrong, it just squeezes across as it just caroms through the slot area, and you hear the Republic of Korea crowd, of course, enjoying the home and the host team's performance so far. They're actually officially the visitors today, but of course here in Gangneung at the Hockey Center in the Republic of Korea, they've got great support as Canada continue to muster puck control, but they have not really had glorious goal-scoring opportunities as yet. But this is a nifty move here, and need to be careful too, Korea. They do not want to concede one late in the period, but this is potentially where Canada can take advantage of them, wearing them down. They've played physical. They've had the puck in this end zone now for an extended period, but a great clearance there from Korea.
1 minute to go in the first period, and much of the period has been played in the Korean zone, as you talk about, but not that many real quality chances. Obviously, the goaltender Yu Mang-yun has made some nice saves, but the Koreans have done a good job playing physical, as you see another hit there by Jang Shin, the 41-year-old. They've done a good job of keeping Canada to the perimeter at times and limiting those quality chances. And again, as you talk about earlier, they're going to be opportunistic, the Koreans, in trying to create some offense.
Oh, what a finish there from Canada. And really from nowhere, they find a way just to slide a dagger right into the heart of the Republic of Korea, and that'll take a little bit of the air out of their balloon without doubt. Late here at the end of the first period, watch Billy Bridges do the no-look pass on the short side, right out to his Canadian teammate, and it's McGregor who pot shots one high up into the roof of the goal, and Yu Mang-yun has no chance.
That puck gets up in a hurry, a nice feed, as you talked about, from Bridges behind the net. And quickly McGregor is able to elevate that puck over the goaltender. Bridges third in scoring. He's now tied for second in scoring in this tournament with teammate Liam Hickey with 13 points. McGregor is fourth in scoring as he picks up his 10th point of the tournament. Two of the elite offensive players for Canada. The Republic of Korea, they did such a great job limiting opportunities, and we're hoping to get into that first period scoreless, but still a bit of a victory for them to be able to get in with the score 1-0 as well if they can lock things down in the last 5 seconds.
And Canada, with just the remaining portion of this first period, they have the puck on their stick and they're in a good position there. Nothing unnecessary at the end of the period, but those are often the areas when you're most likely to get exposed. The first minute of a game, the last minute of, or first minute of a period, last minute of a period. And Canada, who has started so well, find a way just to put a little bit of a chink in the armor of Republic of Korea by getting that late goal. And it looked really, from all the opportunities they had, that one didn't necessarily look the most dangerous, but it certainly was an effective finish.
It was a quick strike, and those quick opportunities can be just as dangerous sometimes as the wide open looks. 1-0, Canada leads. We'll have more from the intermission in a moment. We welcome you back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. 1-0 Canada with the lead after one period of play against the host nation, the Republic of Korea. And that's a great job defensively by the Republic of Korea to limit those Canadian opportunities and keep them to just the one goal, which came late. But even though Canada really pressed to start things off, you talked about it earlier, bending but not breaking, and that was the mantra for the Koreans.
Well, they did an outstanding job. To get through that first 5 minutes is their first goal, not to concede anything. And then from there, you just sort of take it as it comes. And then, of course, their confidence starts to grow. As we'll have a look at some of the highlights here from that opening period. And it was just fantastic work from Republic of Korea. Not necessarily known for their defense or their physicality, but they certainly showed it here against Canada as they move this puck around. And this is really when you expect Canada, because they've been able to come out and score a quick goal in each of the 3 games that they have played. This is a good chance here for Bridges, a shot in. And just being able to, with that big body, Yu Ming-yun in goal for Korea, was able to. And a couple times there, maybe Westlake just receiving some hot passes, wasn't able to quite take it in a advantageous position to be able to redirect it in. But Canada spent the majority of that first period inside the Korean end zone of the ice.
Great goaltending we saw in the first period there, as you mentioned, and Westlake had a couple of good opportunities right off the hop in that period, unable to capitalize, as the Koreans did do a good job of keeping Canada to the perimeter as much as they could. And there was a goal early in this period as well, somewhat actually midway through the period, by the Republic of Korea. It ultimately gets waved off, and this was a great opportunity for them as they're able to create an opportunity from a neutral zone turnover. But you see crashing into the goal here is Gangneung Ho, as the goal gets waved off.
Well, I think it's just a case of getting a little bit overexcited potentially, but there were 2 Canadian defenders with him that end up ultimately forcing him. But he doesn't just, he has to be mindful of his direction there and the way he is moving towards goal. As much as he maybe was taking that line of travel, if he's going to bump into the goaltender ultimately, he's going to get assessed, whether he gets assessed for a penalty or in that situation, it's a disallowed goal. And you would have really put money on the fact that Jung was going to be able to score from that position. But he doesn't know that when he's driving to the net. He's going to the net with purpose, trying to drive defensemen with him. But unfortunately, he couldn't control his body and his sled as he goes right into Corbin Watson.
Jung Si-won, the elite player for this Republic of Korea team. When he has a shot like that in the slot, he doesn't miss often. He didn't miss there, but unfortunately for the Koreans, the goal was disallowed. There was one goal that was allowed in this period, and it came in the final stages of this period. The Canadians, again, with a quick strike, a nice play behind the net, centering pass, and you blink and you miss it. It's in the back of the net.
Well, the most talented, or one of the interesting things about this Canadian lineup, they have so much balance in their skill set. This is a pass by Bridges. Before the McGregor goal, McGregor is an outstanding finish, and if you don't have the finish, of course, you don't get the assist. But the play made by Bridges was so deceptive that I think for a moment, the defenders of Republic of Korea thought that maybe he was going to go behind the net and just hold on to it. But he slips it under his sled out to McGregor, and I think just gives him enough time to be able to get it in a good position on that left hand and elevate it up. And it's just that little half a second that Canada needs to be able to make you pay. And it was, that time was bought by the Bridges move, the deception of whether or not he was going to drive around. Because Bridges shoots the puck so much, and because he's so strong and drives the net, sometimes you got to play for that. You got to anticipate that. This time, he comes and pulls another little trick out of his sleeve, and he goes with a nice little sliding backhand pass out to McGregor.
Both these teams coming into this game undefeated so far in the tournaments. We knew it would be a closely contested match, and what a great job by the Republic of Korea. They did allow 14 shots on goal. Great goaltending, one reason why 13 were kept out, and a couple of shots on goal for the Republic of Korea, as we talked about a little bit earlier. For the Koreans to score in this game, it will likely come off turnovers created and quick strike opportunities. So that's where we sit right now after one period of play. The score is 1-0. We'll have plenty more in our first intermission report when we come back here from the Gangneung Hockey Center. Welcome back. Terrific action in the first period here between Canada and the Republic of Korea, the host nation. The fans certainly getting into this game. Very competitive through the opening 15 minutes, and things starting to get a little bit tougher now for Canada as the schedule ramps up for them, and for the Republic of Korea, a really big test for them, and they showed well in that first period.
They certainly did, and neither of these teams have ever trailed in this competition. This is the first time Republic of Korea have trailed in this competition. Remember, they scored the lead goal in both of those games when they take on Germany and Norway, and then they get leveled, and then they find a leading goal in the third period. Canada, well, as you see, overwhelming. They haven't conceded a goal against it all. That was as close as they were to conceding in that first period, that one that was disallowed. But the rest of the way, Canada, after the off day, have the United States, and then, of course, they're going to take on Germany. So that game against the United States will probably and most likely determine who's going to be number 1 and 2 in the standings and in the seedings, but it's really not going to have a factor because ultimately 1 and 2 will play for the gold medal game. For Republic of Korea, they're going to be taking on the Italians and then finishing with the Americans. So this game here, although they're down by 1 goal, they're going to want to have a strong performance because it's all about confidence as they go through to the rest of the tournament.
Well, confidence as well as goal differential, which is a factor potentially in a tie-breaking situation as these teams jockey for position. So the fact that the Republic of Korea, they're going to try to win this hockey game, no question about it. Keeping the score close as well will be important for them. As we take a look at the standings as they sit right now, game number 1 on day 4 of our coverage. The Republic of Korea, the United States of America, and Canada, the only undefeated teams left in this tournament. So after this matchup, there will be 2 teams that remain undefeated. And in the first period of play, we look at the time on ice for all the players and the contributions made. It's no surprise that the Canadian Adam Dixon at 9 minutes and 36 seconds leads the way for Canada.
It's incredible just how he gets down low in the offensive zone, and he never seems to be concerned or panicked with the puck, like he thinks if he's going to give it up cheaply that he's got to get back in a rescue position. I think they often compensate for Adam Dixon and know that if he's going to go forward and be aggressive, there is a high forward in the zone to make sure that if he does get caught, they've got to come back, because the Koreans are the fastest team that Canada have played in this tournament so far. They've got to be careful. It's just a one-shot game right now, and they could have, for the first time in this tournament, Canada, if that goal was allowed, they could have fallen behind.
17-0 winners Canada yesterday against the Swedes. This game is coming a little faster for them, a little more furious. It is a 1-0 score after 15 minutes. Second period coming up from the Gangneung Hockey Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the ice Team Canada and Team Republic of Korea.
관중 여러분, 캐나다 팀과 대한민국 팀을 환영해 주시기 바랍니다.
And Canada, with the late goal at the end of that first period of play, have the 1-0 lead over Republic of Korea. The goal scored by Tyler McGregor exactly at 14:34. of that first period, and the assist from Billy Bridges. As we said, as you were watching in the intermission break, what a great play it was as you get a good shot there into the Canadian bench, into the bullpen, we like to call it, as where all the action goes on, and the players, of course, awaiting their opportunity to go and shine and perform. Corbin Watson tested more in this hockey game than he has at any point in his tournament so far. He has shared the duties equally with Dominic Larocque in goal. But this Republic of Korea team, they are for real. Their position in the standings right now is undefeated, is not by fluke. They certainly have earned it.
They came out and played a very good first period. It's no secret that they're not going to get a lion's share of the chances in this game. So understanding that, you have to adjust your game plan and try to find ways maybe to stretch some passes out, find some players with speed in the neutral zone, or do what they did on the disallowed goal, which is create a turnover in the neutral zone and try to facilitate an odd man rush up ice.
We have a growing crowd inside the Gangneung Hockey Center as it is Saturday. The weekend, of course, it is a day off for all the teams in the tournament as we have a mid-tournament break tomorrow on Easter Sunday. But again, this is a real performance for both of these teams to make sure they peak and be at their best, as they are playing the best that either of them have competed against as yet in the tournament. It's Korea to take the opening draw, and they'll just slide it in there. Look at the speed again. 2-14s against each other. Double trouble, and it's a drive-through as Canada are able to come through and pick up the loose puck. And that's one of the things, as you see the speed that can be generated by Korea. They're not afraid to advance and to press that puck in the Canadian end zone.
Not afraid to be physical either, as they get a little bit of offensive zone time here to start the period, but the Canadians quick on the counterattack.
It's McGregor. He's just holding up. He's waiting for some puck support. Touching of the puck there with the hand. That's okay in the defensive zone, but they can't do much with it. Bowden with a play, and we've seen that nifty a few times. And you see that more and more, of course, in para ice hockey and hockey as well, where players are just trying to make that short side play out from behind the goal and see if they can't drag the goaltender with them, and of course the defenders too. But it's Cozzolino in behind the goal, and it's wrapped around by Korea. It's kept in. Dixon for a moment just does the 360 spin. He's able to shake his man loose off of him as McGregor and this line of Cozzolino and Westlake again asserting themselves in the opening stages of the second period. A shot there, but the defense of Korea keeping things at bay.
Nice job to try to keep things to the outside here by the Koreans, as McGregor looking to get to a loose puck and find an open man in the slot area.
A lot of work from Canada, but at the moment it's on the outside, and when the shots do come and present themselves, here's the turnover again. This is going to be a clear-cut breakaway. Here come Korea. It is going to be Lee Jong-kung. Is he going to be at a level? What a save by Corbin Watson. It is the best one he's made of the tournament so far, and it could be a game changer.
That's the quick strike opportunities we talk about with the Koreans. Another shot here as Watson gets a glove on that, and it goes over the net. But that's how offense is going to be created in this game by the Republic of Korea. Those quick strike opportunities and a breakaway chance there. What a glorious opportunity, and a huge blocker save by Watson, his biggest of the tournament.
There has been a couple opportunities in this game that Canada have afforded Korea by maybe overhandling the puck inside the offensive blue line, and Korea have snuffed it out and have taken it down with a real chance to score.
Just a great burst of speed there on the breakaway opportunity, and Canada's going to have to watch out for that. The Koreans more than capable of using their speed to create offense as well.
And Bridges now a big body looking to lay in onto Korea, and I think Canada potentially at times undecided what game it wants to play, because of course they want to keep scoring goals as they have been enjoying, but they might find they're going to have to play a different game in this one and try to win a tight game. What they might have thought was going to be the scoreline is not looking to be that way today.
Well, what they're used to is if they do get caught, their speed allows them to catch up to the attacking team through the neutral zone and into their defensive end. So even if they get caught, they can catch up. This Korean team is too fast, though. Lee Jong-young coming in with a great opportunity there, unable to score.
And what a save. And it's never to be underestimated how difficult that is for a goaltender when you don't see a lot of action, and the action you do see is a prime goal-scoring opportunity. And of course, when he's coming from halfway down the ice, uncontested, and everybody in the building starts to rise with anticipation, it's even more nervous or anxious than you might have in a penalty shot, because it's just that real live game moment. And Corbin Watson makes the best save, as we say, of the tournament for Canada for either of the goaltenders, and really maybe his own good fortune that he had that breakaway. It was his moment to shine, and he certainly did.
A lot of fans in the crowd here supporting the home team, the Republic of Korea, and everybody was on the edge of their seat with that breakaway opportunity. This place would have gone crazy had there been a goal there from Lee Gangneung. But a nice save again by Watson. Still, though, the Koreans just one shot away from tying this game.
It's Dixon who's back inside his own zone, and he's supported by Henry. Henry with just the shovel play up for Armstrong. Good puck movement from Canada here, but they've done well. Every time Canada's had some speed, either as a line or as individuals, Korea have been able to find a way to get into their movement lane, get into their skating lane, and not allow them to really come at Korea in waves. And that's what Canada has done so far. They've been relentless. They've broken teams down by confusing them almost with their speed. And Korea have done enough just to be able to control that speed, never letting it get so fast and overwhelming coming at them.
Korea playing with a lot of structure here, and they don't seem disjointed. We saw yesterday the Swedish team playing Canada looked very disjointed, very fatigued in that game. Even though the Republic of Korea played the evening game starting at 7 o'clock local time last night, and they're here on the ice again at 11 a.m. local time, they don't look tired at all. They look ready to go here against the Canadians.
Fabulously conditioned are Korea, and they have shown it in this game here. Never a doubt as Sorley makes that play back, or rather maybe it was Sorley who just shovels it back to the Canadians. The Canadians have done well. Dixon just grabs this situation and says, listen guys, we are kind of playing with fire here. Let's start advancing going north, because this going south is putting us in all sorts of trouble. As here comes Sorley. Sorley trying to get a touch of it. It's Sholomiki, who's a big body, and maybe that game plan. They need a little bit of physicality to do Canada. Just try to open up a little bit more space in the offensive zone. Dixon is met right at the pass as he tries to find a way. Here is the rocket for Korea, and immediately he has brought the attention of Sholomiki, and that's why he's out there as Jung Si-won gets upended, and Canada need to play that game. Sometimes you wonder whether they have tried to be a little bit of a skilled team. They are capable of doing that, but maybe they need to get more in the trenches against a team like Korea today.
Yeah, that was a nice defensive play there to take the time and space away from the speedy number 14, Jung Si-won. He's nicknamed the Rocket Man. He was named the best forward at the 2015 World Championship as an opportunity here for the Koreans as well. They continue to press here, and you get the sense that if they get the next one, really some momentum could be coming on their side with this crowd behind them.
Great decision by Dixon. He almost looks like a quarterback in American football there, doesn't he? He gets his head up and high with kind of a periscope vision over top of this play in front of him, and he tries to make the good decision, the best decision available to his team. And unfortunately, Korea are offside on that play. Their bench position, their gate is in an offside position as they go off to make that line change. You really need them changing in the neutral zone, going off the neutral zone, coming on, but nonetheless, it's Canada coming across this line in the offensive zone. 5 defensive players back, though, for Korea. That's the most important part. They are 5 guys behind the puck and in a good defensive position, making sure that Canada does not get any odd man rushes. Cozzolino in the corner is working with the puck. It's McGregor who supports him. It's a 2-on-1, but quickly being watched there by the Korean forward. McGregor is just trying to scoop and recover, and he just corrals that puck into his clutches. Cozzolino is looking for where he can best service that puck, and it's broken up again. As look at Korea, the speed here as they come right at Canada, as number 10 is Cho Young-jae. And there's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be Canada who are forced to take an interference call because of that speed on the forecheck from Korea.
Well, I think that penalty is actually coming. It is against Canada. You're right. It was interference penalty. Speedy play there by the Republic of Korea as we go to break.
Team Canada penalty number 14, Steve Arsenault. 2 minutes for interference. At the penalty 6:28.
캐나다 팀 14번 스티브 아이스너 인터피어런스 페널티로 2분간 퇴장. 페널티
Canada short-handed as Arsenault goes to the penalty box for interference. So a power play opportunity for Korea, their first one of the game. And it's on the stick of Jung Si-won, the man they want to. He goes right to the top here on the point of this power play as they set up the umbrella formation. And where will he move it to? I just wonder if they need a little bit more movement here to Korea. There's a little bit of rotation there as now Jung Si-won comes to this backside. He's trying to find him here. Getting a good stick on it, though, is McGregor as he senses that feed coming through that high passing lane through the box of this Canadian penalty kill. And he just gets a good clearance of the puck down the length of the ice in the backhand. Not an easy clearance at all, but it is now Korea who come back, and they'll be the first one on the puck. Westlake is right there to chaperone the first Korean forward and to make sure that he's not able to receive it cleanly, or certainly he is contested. And this will be brought out to the blue line, kept in. There's a shot. Corbin Watson from there, though, will pretty much eat that up every single time. If he can see it, I'm pretty sure he can save it from that sort of range, as it's a 55-footer on the power play, and we're a minute left in this opportunity. Yeah.
Well, nice job by the Koreans down low to get two men on one and create an odd man battle there in the corner. The puck gets back to the point. And as you talk about, if Watson can see a shot from there, he's going to stop it every time. A little more traffic in front would help for the Koreans, but a good opportunity nonetheless.
And kept in well. Dixon, who wraps it off the board, has it go off the body of the Koreans, and they've now been able to pick this up. They lay it off well. This is a great structure from the Koreans, and there's the hot shot. It's kind of a quick short hop bounce into Watson's glove. He grabs it, and as all of these goaltenders are in para ice hockey, they are glove reliant, and they are so capable, if you go to the glove side, of just getting this into their grasp. And he could have decided if he wanted to play it on there, but he elects to have another whistle and a face-off with 43 seconds remaining on his power play.
Well, Lee Ju-sung had a lot of time there, and he threw a weak shot at the net. Might have been better served to try to set something up and create a better opportunity.
Dixon in the corner, and he takes it to the wall, and he does this very well. And it's just an effective use of managing the clock, and what he's been able to do, he's drawn in two Korean players, and they've had to force themselves to try to get the puck, but they've been able to win it back as they've kept it in well at the blue line a couple of times now in this power play sequence. And they will just try to wrap it down low and again try to reload this cycle for Korea. And again, Canada in those trenches right now are just gutting it out, keeping this play tight to the boards and keeping it on the outside. They don't want a penetrating shot in. Canada now back to full strength. Arsenault returns to the ice. He's on the near side if they want to come to him. Bridges has got an option, and I think he's just going to play it off. Look at Bridges again to Arsenault. What a play. Arsenault goes in. He might get a penalty. He's got to be careful. It's going to be outside the zone, but I don't think there's going to be a call on the play. But again, that's the no-look feed from Billy Bridges as he leaves it in the lane for Arsenault to advance onto.
Quick strike offense here from the Canadians is a nice little touch pass over to Arsenault. And Arsenault getting the puck in his forehand a little too far as he goes to the net. And I'm not sure why that's not an interference penalty, as he wasn't pushed into the goalie. He certainly wasn't incidental contact either. Is still down on the ice is Yu Mang-yun. He was run into heavily. The trainer for the Republic of Korea is out to tend to him, but that looked like a pretty clear-cut goalie interference penalty to me.
Well, he certainly was in the blue paint at the time. Arsenault, who was trying to get the shot, didn't quite get the shot maybe he wants. Of course, at the last second there, he is actually pushed out of the lane there by the defending player. But you see him work hard to get back into a central position to get to the net. And he does, of course, make contact with Yu Ming-young in goal. And so it is just a discretionary call of the referee, isn't it, as to whether or not he feels it warranted goaltender interference. Maybe potentially Arsenault has his momentum slowed up there by that last little bit of a push, and he doesn't deem that he went into him hard enough. That's the only reason we can think it's not going to be a penalty. But at the moment, Yu Ming-young is down, and that's why it's gone a little quiet inside the building, but he looks to be back upright there now as he gets himself onto his skates. He's got his helmet off just to catch a breather. You see that a little bit in para ice hockey. It seems to be the first thing that goes is the helmet as soon as they're under distress and feeling the possibility of an injury. They just need to get the top off and blow off a little bit of steam.
Well, good to see Yu Mang-yun back on his feet, the 43-year-old. getting a drink of water, and looks like he'll stay in the game here. He began playing the sport 11 years ago, became a goalie 7 years ago. So he's a veteran of the position, a veteran of the sport. He's playing in his 3rd World Championship. And he has looked very good here for the Republic of Korea, keeping in this game. The face-off does come outside. No goalie interference on the play, but this is the 2nd time that a Canadian has run into the Korean goaltender that the Koreans thought maybe there should have been a call.
And Bowden, we haven't seen a lot of Brad Bowden in the course of the last period or so, really, as Canada have been searching for opportunities, maybe in the second period, shall we say. It has been a little bit of an interesting game, that late goal from Canada, but here we are, 6:02 remaining. We're well over the halfway point, and it's just that lone goal on the scoreboard that counts in this hockey game, as Canada will get a line change here in the offensive zone, and out will come Westlake. This line, along with McGregor and Cozzolino, as Coach Ken Babby just looking to rotate his troops and try to come strong and quick and fast at this Korean lineup. It's a hand pass, and is this going to go outside the zone? So Canadians offensively in the offensive zone, they hand pass the puck, which of course isn't allowed. That's why the faceoff now has moved itself outside of Korea's defensive blue line. And if Westlake will now contend for it against the captain, Chang Jung-ho. And both of them just fall to their sides just to try to protect that puck, but it's Bowden with some more speed, starting to notice him a little bit more in this shift and getting activated. Canada need that movement, that speed that hasn't been too obvious or apparent in this second period, and I think equally they're probably a little bit surprised by what they're contending with today against this Korean lineup. But this is a 1-2 opportunity here. Westlake tries to go to the left hand, and again it just gets beyond the end of the stick, the toe of his left hand. And Westlake, we saw, who went off the post in that first period, has just been really just short of getting the possession, or of course the puck position on his stick that I'm sure that he would like.
A lot of good opportunities here for the Canadians as they start creeping up to 20 shots on goal in this game, with just one finding the back of the net. And the longer this game goes at 1-0, the more of an advantage it becomes for the Republic of Korea. The longer they can hang around and try to get those quick strike opportunities, those fast break opportunities that they're capable of, the better this is for them. They finished 7th at the 2014 Paralympics in Sochi, beating Sweden 2-0 in their final game. Much improved from there 3 years later, this program. Silver medalists in 2012 as well at the World Championship, so they're a team certainly capable of winning a medal here. Nice shot on goal there by Dixon, deflected in front, just wide by McGregor.
And even better, the passing at the blue line between him and Henry, as they were just able to reverse the puck to each other, having a good sense of each other's movement there. That board just came open, or sorry, the door to the bench area came open. And again, those line changes are tricky for Korea. They haven't quite mastered that yet. It always seems to be a little bit of a flurry of activity as players go off and then replacing them coming on. And they have been, as we say, assessed a couple times in this tournament with too many players on the ice. But Canada with some more speed coming through the neutral zone. They haven't enjoyed a lot of that speed as a unit, as a team, attacking the offensive blue line in this game, because they've got to go through all of this Korean traffic. And McGregor's doing as good a job as any Canadian has in this second period, navigating it there as he is playing traffic cop. He tries to get through, but the Koreans ultimately will send the puck the full length of the ice for another icing call, in Canada in these last couple shifts, building a little bit of offensive momentum.
Yeah, the Canadians were changing there, so McGregor was on his own in the offensive zone. He went through about 3 players, and finally the Koreans were able to take the puck from him. But that just shows you some of the elite stick handling possessed by Tyler McGregor, who's one of the more creative players for this Canadian team.
And a lob shot in from Bowden, and I'm not sure if that wasn't just entirely just a little bit of a dump shot. I think he realizes that it was going to be ambitious to get that up and over Gangneung. His position was deep enough in the net, but it's been kept alive, and Bowden more activated in these last few shifts, giving himself an opportunity to shoot this one. He does, and Gangneung almost a little bit with disdain there catches that puck and emphasizes just how easy and in control he was when he made it.
That's an easy one for him. He's faced harder shots than that in this game so far and kept a majority of them out of the net. 1-0, Canada leads. 3:57 to go in the second.
The lone goal still stands on the scoreboard as the only tally in this hockey game. It came off the stick of Tyler McGregor late in the first period, and we are moving late into this second period, inside of 4 minutes remaining, and Canada still searching for more. And maybe for themselves, they're happy just to score. It might be a game, this one, and we certainly would have anticipated it. Maybe a 1-0 scoreline sticks today, but Bowden all the way in. Gangneung makes the save. I'm not sure if he entirely knew that he had, but it had gone far and through his body, wide side into the corner. And Canada responded to it first, but look at 4 Korean players defensively against the Canadian 2 players. They have worked in numbers and worked in packs as a unit, have the Koreans. They've been very well structured in this game so far, and particularly this second period as well, as now Bridges is working hard to try to come up with that loose puck over on the far side. And one after another, the Koreans take their turn in providing the defense and the support against that puck. That's Dixon. That's a great shot under pressure. He had enough heat on that, probably about 50 miles an hour as it comes in from his seated position. Not a whole lot of momentum behind the shot, mostly just the strength of the flick of the wrist. But Korea are going to just try to clear it. A little bit sloppy there. Dixon again, the first player for Canada in below the goal line as a defenseman out front. What a defensive play as they had him dead to rights. Gangneung was down defensively. It's Han-Min Soo who denies the second Canadian goal.
That puck at a wide, clear lane into the back of the net, and it is the defenseman, Han-Min Soo, able to get his sled in front of it, keep it out of the net. Dixon takes a little bit of a rough ride there from Park Woo-Chul. He seems all right, though. He'll stay in the play for Canada.
Sholomicki has some speed coming out. Sholomicki will shoot a hot shot in. Gangneung, again, has been the best defender on the ice. And I think arguably you'd say, other than flashes, what you've seen from Jung Chi-Won, we've seen a number of good, solid performances throughout this Korean lineup as they have kept the Canadians at bay. McGregor trying to get around the corner. He is met by 2 Koreans as they double team him, and it's a Canadian sandwich with a couple slices of Korean bread as Henry will come back now and pick up this loose puck. And Dixon, it looks as though and feels as though Dixon is on the ice for pretty much the lion's share of this hockey game. He's playing, it looks, 2/3 of the time for Canada as he is logging the minutes out there at the back, at the front, all over the ice, and just trying to set the table for Canada. What a spin move from Cozzolino, backside to Westlake, and Gangneung again fully outstretched, able to deny Canada any further advancement on that play.
56 seconds to go here in the second period, and some great work defensively by the Koreans. It was a beautiful spin play by Dominic Cozzolino, centering pass, and the opportunity in front of the net for Greg Westlake. But again, great back pressure there from Lee Jong-young of the Korean team, able to get back just in time. And every time a Canadian seems to be getting the puck lately near the net, there's 1 or 2 Koreans right on them. We saw some great back checking by the speedster Jung Si-Won as well. He's not a big guy. In fact, he might be one of the smallest guys in this tournament, but he's a physical player. He's not shy, very speedy. He was the flag bearer at the opening and closing ceremonies of the Paralympic Games in 2014 for the Koreans. Very popular player here.
Bridges with the hot shot from the blue line right off of the faceoff. And they're electing go down low, and I think as well what the Canadians are trying to do is get players to the net, hoping for maybe a positive deflection or bounce, rebound, maybe a little bit of a rebound as well as McGregor whips one wide. It comes around the near side. Bowden will pick it up. Bowden with the offload out to Westlake, and it's a shot there. Cozzolino, is there a backside option for Canada? It's a mad scramble. Westlake with the last effort at it, and Yu Ming Young has laid across like a board in front of that Korean goal throughout the entirety of this game so far, and he probably makes his best sequence as he is under siege from the Canadians in the late stages of the second period.
15 seconds to go here in period number 2. A ferocious attack by the Canadians, and the Koreans gave up a goal with less than 30 seconds to go in the first period. Coaches hate that when you give up a goal in the final minute, especially the final 30 seconds. Koreans doing everything they can to avoid making that same mistake here in period number 2. As 15 ticks remain, if they can get to the third period in a one-goal game, they got a great opportunity to pick up some points here.
And a last face-off here for Canada. Bowden with shot, deflection. This could be a chance here. Cozzolino will score. And it looked to be a long time arriving, didn't it? Of course, in the scoreboard, but equally, Cozzolino had that wide open goal, and you wondered if Yu Ming Young was going to be able to recover on this play. But a loose puck opportunity is Yu Ming Young is committed. Cozzolino driving to get to it, and finally does arrive and slots it past the Korean goalkeeper with just enough elevation.
11 seconds to go. We just talked about how important it was for Korea to get out of this period. Only down 1-0. They can't do it as the puck hits McGregor in front of the net. And on that shot, Yu Ming Young bit on it, as he should, trying to make the save, but it goes off McGregor and bounces out to the right side of the goal. From there, Cozzolino has got a wide open net. And if he gets that opportunity 100 times, he's going to score 100 times. As the seconds tick down here in the second period, Canada will take a 2-0 lead into the break.
Canada, in back-to-back periods, punctuate this scoreline with now their second goal, and they've done it in dramatic fashion. Devastating Republic of Korea twice with heartbreak hammers right into the back of their goal, as this time it's Cozzolino just before the end of 30 minutes of play in day 4 action, and Canada grabbed themselves a 2-0 lead. As we'll go to the break here now at the Gangneung Hockey Center. It's Canada 2, Republic of Korea, no score.
Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. Canada with a 2-0 lead over the Republic of Korea through 30 minutes of action. Mike Kelly and Brent Pope with you. And another tightly contested period there. Canada hasn't seen competition like this so far at the tournament. But once again, for the second period in a row, the Koreans allow a goal in the final minute, in the final 30 seconds, and that is just really heartbreaking stuff for them.
Yeah, it's devastating considering how well they've played in this hockey game. And I'd be honest to say, we're a little bit surprised at just how well they're able to match up with Canada, given that they played in the last game yesterday and the first one here today. But we'll have some look at the highlights here so far, and it's testimony you've been watching. They have earned every bit of the opportunity to be right in this game, but these late goals have been so difficult for them to stomach, I'm sure, as they go into the second period break. But that was a chance there to go 1-1 as Corbin Watson makes his best save for the Canadian goaltending team in this tournament.
Yeah, he had to make a couple of great saves in quick succession there, and that was certainly the best chance any team's had against the Canadians so far in this tournament. Koreans did a pretty good job again of limiting Canada's opportunities. Some nice saves by the goaltender as well. As you see, coming crashing into the net there is a Canadian forward, but the Koreans playing that late game last night on the ice again early here this morning, local time. They don't look fatigued at all, and if they can get the next one, they certainly have an opportunity to pick up some points.
Well, they've had an opportunity. Remember, they had that disallowed goal in the first period, and then, of course, they have the breakaway there. And they haven't had to have many opportunities in the games that they have played so far. But, of course, against Canada, a little bit of a different defensive prospect. They have certainly managed Canada very well offensively. And as we'll wait to see the official shots of that opening couple periods, because Canada, although they've had a lot of activity in the offensive zone, they've had to work hard to break down. But this is Cozzolino right inside again, those last 30 seconds. And you talk about a recipe to really just put a dagger or really take the air out of a balloon of a team. Canada have done it in back-to-back periods. And it's one of these situations here at the moment, because they've had so much success offensively, Canada, this is a different hockey game for them, a different complexion to it. And I'm sure that you always have an idea in the back of your mind, what do you think the scoreline might be today? And I thought the scoreline would have been probably a little bit different than what we're seeing right now, meaning I thought maybe there was going to be a greater lead by Canada after 2 periods of play. Both of these goals that they have scored, they've been a little bit fortunate inside the last minute to break the Republic of Korea down.
Well, they have had the better of the opportunities in this game, there's no question, but that quick strike offense for the Koreans, they've got 4 shots on goal, and they've been dangerous shots. I mean, everything that the Korean team is doing in terms of generating opportunities towards the net has resulted in good quality opportunities. 22-4 are the shots on goal, so a testament to the great goaltending seen and the great team defense seen by the Koreans here to keep this a 2-0 score. As we go into the third period, it will be interesting to see if Canada can come out and try to continue to dictate play, or whether the Koreans can try to get a quick opportunity in this game, and if they can get the next one maybe inside the first 5 minutes, this could set up for a really exciting finish.
Well, you think Korea needs the benefit of something quick inside the first 5 minutes, maybe inside the first minute, even off these set pieces, these opening face-offs to start the periods. They've been able to win them and get a shot, a long shot in. What they need is to have a game-breaking play. They've had a game-breaking play in the first 2 games. They've had the opportunities here in this one, but they've not been able to make it count. And they really rely on efficiency. And when you only get 7 shots in a hockey game, and you're expecting to be able to get 2 to be able to match the opposition, that's rather ambitious. So if they could get 1 here from somewhere, and maybe a little bit by luck, or again forcing a Canadian mistake, they could be in to really make this an interesting hockey game to finish.
Lots more still to come here at the Gangneung Hockey Center as we are setting up for an exciting finish. Third period action still ahead. Canada with a 2-0 lead. Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. 2-0 Canada leads after 30 minutes of play against the host nation, the Republic of Korea. This is the first of 3 games here on day 4 of tournament action. Game number 2, it's the United States getting set to take on Germany, and the United States didn't play on day 1, so they've only played 2 games so far in this tournament. What do you expect out of this game between a very powerful U.S. team and a resilient German team?
Well, I expect them to carry on and continue to be strong in this tournament. Germany at the moment are in 6th position, and they were able to get that 1 point, although they end up getting defeated by Norway in that extra time game in game number 2, or day number 2 rather. But USA are looking, and of course are the reigning world champions, the reigning gold medal Paralympic champions. And although Canada coming up to this game had looked the form team, it's going to get interesting throughout this tournament. And the United States are going to want to roll on, and they'll be watching this game with great interest. And of course, everybody taking note at how well Republic of Korea are playing, because they are not just the host, but they are for real in this competition. And of course, they're going to be participating in these games when they come back here in a year's time, the Paralympic Games. But right now, they're showing that they're here to try to win a medal as well.
The Germans hoping to win a medal, as everybody is, but certainly hoping to finish in a top 5 spot, as that would get them an automatic qualification to the 2018 Paralympic Games. So a lot on the line for both teams. For the United States, Declan Farmer's been great so far. He's got 6 goals already in the tournament, matching his 2015 total. And then as we look ahead to the late game tonight as well, Norway taking on Sweden. Sweden coming off that 17-0 loss to Canada, and Norway coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Republic of Korea last night. We take a look at the standings here, as you'll see how important that matchup will be for the Norwegians, who right now are sitting on that bubble of a top 5 spot.
So a top 5 position will get you through automatically, and Republic of Korea are sitting in one of the top 5. So that means that the 6 and 7 position at the moment, Germany and Sweden, would have to qualify for the Paralympic Games via another tournament if they're unable to get some success throughout the remainder of their games in this tournament. So all of the games, of course, count, and every single one, particularly with a rest day tomorrow, you want to leave everything you've got in the first 4 days of competition here inside the building. Don't leave anything at the practice rink or back at the hotel, wherever the teams, of course, are staying. They're staying up in Pyeongchang, so it's about a 45-minute ride down here to Gangneung Hockey Center. This is make or break time for a lot of those teams in this tournament. They must get some hay, and they must get some return from their investment so far in the 4 days of work.
Sweden will look for a bounce-back performance from 52-year-old goaltender Ulf Nilsson, who, as his coach says, gets ready for games by not really training and just being himself. So maybe that's what he did last night, and he'll be ready to go here for the Swedish team, as they're in tough again against a very good Norwegian team. So 3 games for you, as always, right now in game number 1 on day 4. It is Canada 2-0 in a great contest against the Republic of Korea. 3rd period action when we come back.
And there you see the scoreboard. Canada benefiting from 2 late goals. One at the end of the first period. And reminding ourselves of that, it was Tyler McGregor who scored at 14:34, even strength, the assist from Billy Bridges. And then late at the end of the second period there, it is Cozzolino at 29:51. He gets the goal, and again, Canada making the most of those last 30 seconds of play. And Republic of Korea just paying the price for maybe just a little bit of lack of awareness, but equally a very opportunistic. And you make your own luck in this sport. You've got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. And Canada have been able to find a way to get themselves on the board in those last closing stages. So here, ahead of the third period, they're in the driver's seat. I'm sure they'd like to be up by more, but they are playing a very worthy opponent today in the Republic of Korea as Westlake is in there, and he's up against Lee Jung-sung. And Canada will take this draw. It's Bowden who will feed it over to McGregor, and it's a quick start from Canada to Westlake. Westlake's in a great position. Oh, and then Westlake's denied there. Cozzolino to find up and follow with that rebound, but he can't get it. And Westlake with a hot shot there. As again, it's Yu Ming Young who is equal to the questions being asked by the Canadians. And McGregor is upended here, and Republic of Korea looking for a little bit of a counter break. A transition attack if they can take it. And a couple line changes as well for Korea. They try to make those before. Here comes Canada again. Westlake with a little bounce pass to himself. And it's Bowden that tries to advance onto it. He goes hard into the end boards. And Canada immediately starting this third period as they finish the second with a whole lot of pace and purpose. There's a shot from McGregor. And it just goes wide, and so often these positions, these shots, you think as though they are potentially on goal from our vantage point. And a lot of them wide as they force the issue here, Canada. And this has been a strong start from the Maple Leafs. But in this neutral zone, Korea will just marshal it down, and maybe with a little bit of lack of awareness there beyond their own red line. And they send it the length of the ice for an icing call against. We'll look back at just how Canada starts this period. This is Westlake right into a golden goal scoring opportunity there. And he goes high just under, I think, the helmet of Yu Ming Young. And again, Canada are doing a great job on these face-offs. As Dixon looks to the wide side out front, they do a one-time effort there. It's Hickey who was the intended recipient of the Adam Dixon pass. And Korea cannot get a line change that they were hoping for. They clear it the length of the ice, and it goes to the left of Corbin Watson. So the same 5 players on the ice for Korea, as they'll need to up their game a little bit as Canada are working with that momentum. And so difficult for any team, and of course any coach, to see their team concede those late goals, but then as well to keep your team in good spirits to be ready. But Korea can feel good about their performances. Again, they just close down the shots coming in, and Yu Ming Young with that face-off and controlling it allows his team to finally get the all-important line change here. And some new fresh troops out on the ice as Dixon rolls around for Canada into an easy position here. Again, that stick handling ability is just absolutely sensational. And the shot in is always a good one, but Yu Ming Young been very clean in controlling any loose puck opportunities. It's Dixon again with the puck on his stick. He's able just to try to corral it underneath him, but Korea have done well with that. That one gets waved off, and that's to their benefit. They can try to establish a little bit more offensive zone position, as Bridges is the man to come back and scoop up this puck. And Canada looking for a little bit more speed as Dixon, rather thoughtful, comes through the middle. He just off-lays it down, and it's going to actually go as icing there, as it was just a little too ambitious and fed ahead of Smith, who was the intended target down this right wing. And now some discussion going on. As you see Jonathan Morrison having none of that. He makes sure that things are under control. And Canada just lining themselves up there, as you see in the players' bench. And Korea equally getting themselves back into their holding. And those are great shots of just the action that goes on in and out of those bench areas. Of course, that is artificial ice that they are maneuvering on there. And of course, sliding in, they adjust the hallways here inside the Gangneung Hockey Center, so that sort of artificial plastic is everywhere, so these players can slide and get from their changing rooms out onto the surface of the ice. But this is an aggressive forecheck from Canada, and a shot from Bridges. Again, all of the action right now has been into the midsection, right into that Korea logo for Yu Men-young. And he has been equal to every shot so far, as we aren't 3 minutes gone yet in this third period. Smith will get collection of this puck, and it's Sholomicki who just offloads it. This good overlap from Canada. Maybe a little bit of a bounce in front. It will just carry him into the corner, and it's Sholomicki who now tries the search and destroy mission to the opposite corner. Tries to upend his man. He's been able to remove him off of his skates, but it's winning that puck back now that is the next task. And this for Canada. Sorley just trying to get it out of his skates as the puck gets kind of jarred underneath there, and difficult for it to be removed. Canada have to now all leave the zone as it's a delayed offside call. And a little bit of mayhem going on in that neutral zone, as both Korea a little bit disjointed in those line changes, as we've acknowledged previously, a little bit slow to get themselves back out there. But now for the first time in this third period, they're in the offensive zone. As we say, they really need to try and get something, whether it be by luck or just a real game-breaking play. They need to get a goal. They need to get something, some traffic on Corbin Watson, if they're really going to push these Canadians against the rope. And they have found a way to be dramatic in the last stages of the third period. So maybe they can do that again here, but they need to start. There's a Bowden shot that goes up, and it's off the head, I think, of Yu Men-young and into the corner. Westlake, long distance call there, and nobody answers, but it will be Adam Dixon to pick it up on the opposite side. And he just gets upended, but does enough just to swat it into the zone. And Canada right now are just playing a territory game, just trying to control the puck into space.
And here come the Koreans, a pass just a little bit out of the reach of the pinching defenseman there, Ryu Ji-hyun, the 30-year-old playing in his first World Championship. Canadians just offside there, as bringing it in over the line was Tyler McGregor. They had numbers on the attack, but a step ahead of the play was his line mates, as we'll take a quick timeout. 2-0 Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Gangneung 2017 World Bureau Ice Hockey Championship Able Committee would like to thank all our volunteers today. Without them, none of this is possible. So thank you once again to our volunteers.
관중 여러분, 2017 강릉 세계 장애인 아이스하키 선수권대회 중지위원회는 모든 자원봉사자들의 헌신과 노고에 깊은 감사를 드립니다. 이번 대회를 도와주시는 자원봉사자분들께도 감사의 박수 부탁드립니다.
Canada with the lion's share of traffic in this third period with the shots, and certainly trying to increase their lead. But again, Yu Men-sung, who has been, and I would say from what we've seen so far, the real player of the game for Republic of Korea. I think equally as much as they as a team have played extremely well in front, he has had a standout performance in goal for them today.
He has been a difference maker for this team, no question. It could definitely be 4, 5, 6 nothing for Canada. Had it not been for a couple of brilliant saves from Gangneung. A big reason why this game is still competitive and still within striking distance for the Koreans. All they have to do is get the next one, make it a one-goal game, and then anything can happen. And we know how quickly they can generate offenses. They're a good team creating turnovers and creating pressure on these Canadians.
And an interesting stat would be how many block shots that the Koreans have been able to implement today. They have been in the way, whether it be block shots or broken up passes. They've been able to be disruptive. As it's Dixon now with control for a shot, and again you see Dixon unload that shot, so much force from what looks like just a cupped position off of his hip there to generate that type of velocity.
He can fire it from anywhere on the ice, and the hockey sense he possesses, it always seems like whenever there's a loose puck, Dixon's there to find it. He's a great skater, he's got great hockey sense, and he's not afraid to shoot the puck from anywhere as he makes a nice pass here to Hickey, who gets the stick knocked out of his hand.
And ultimately, losing the stick is like losing a skate blade, because that's what propels you around the ice. You saw earlier in this game, Jung Si-won with just one stick blade, propelling himself at the same speed as the Canadian player, trying to track him down on what was a forecheck at the time. But 8:32 remaining in what is likely to be this hockey game. And there we look, 25 saves so far. That's a great day's work under such stern opposition as the Canadians shooting at him.
Really impressive performance from Gangneung. A great vision he has on a lot of these shots, being able to see the puck, so a testament to his defense as well. They've been able to keep Canada to the outside for a number of those shots, and he's made some terrific saves at the same time. A performance he can certainly be happy with. He'll have to be perfect here the rest of the way with 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the period if Korea wants to have a chance.
And Korea with a little bit of a loose puck possession, and maybe they can come forward as a little bit of control for them. You hear the crowd in anticipation responding. This goes up elevated, but as we say, maybe they just need a little bit of luck, but you have to make your own luck too. They've got to get pucks in on net, and every time there is a shot, particularly you see the hands of the Canadian defenders going up, trying to do some work in front of Watson. They know that this game is only a shot away from getting a little bit itchy and certainly scratchy for the Canadians, who are really in as tight as they have been at any point in this tournament so far. Of course, they still have the Americans to play, and that game, of course, will be probably their sternest test.
That was a great opportunity for the Koreans. A nice pass to the middle of the ice. Han-Min Soo, number 68 in white, was pinching from the point. He wasn't able to corral the pass, but if he was able to get the puck on his stick there, that's an open look.
Out front for Cozzolino. He's already scored. He gets a touch of this one as it's an elevated pass across. McGregor makes the feed. He tries to knock it out of the air. And maybe could have used a little bit of a tennis racket there, but his stick almost seemed to be good enough in which to negotiate over top of Gangneung. But his size, his anticipation, and again, he just corrals and smothers this puck with another Canadian shot on goal.
What a saucer pass from McGregor, and then Cozzolino doing a great job to bat the puck out of the air and then get another shot on goal as well. Great stick work from both those players. McGregor with a shot low and a blocker save from Gangneung.
Dixon is right down low, as we see him so often. He just tries to buy some time to get the right angle to McGregor coming down this backside. Again, it falls to Dixon. He's in a little bit of a tight spot there. There's no real shooting lane in on goals, so he puts it to the corner. And again, the cycle continues for Canada as they look to just try to draw this Korean defense out. They try to use their speed to confuse and, of course, create a shooting lane, a passing lane, any possibility. Canada is working, and this is a good offload here from Dixon, who's ever present, as we've talked about all day, and as well ahead of the broadcast. He had a game of all games in yesterday's competition versus Sweden with 9 points. And you see with that type of puck retention and possession that he does have, he's generally involved with most of what goes on for Canada on every shift that he's on the ice. But this now is going to be Henry, who recovers it. Dixon is met with Jung Si-won.
Jung Si-won, the most gifted offensive player for this Korean team, now out on the ice. So this is a shift that they'll look to try to generate some offense.
And Canada have just been able to hold it on their stick and they're electing to play the best brand of defense, which is just keeping the puck on your stick, whether it's in the neutral zone, the offensive zone. As long as they've got it, Korea can't score, as it's under the sled right now of McGregor, and he just waits and buys enough time for one of his Canadian teammates to come and help him, support the play. Arsenault down low, what a shot there. And these goals have come from nothing and from tight angles.
McGregor with a quick release. You talk about how important it is to get the puck off your stick quickly and try to surprise the goaltender, no matter which team is playing. And a great opportunity for McGregor to put this game away for the Canadians. The 23-year-old from Hamilton, Ontario, sends it just wide of the goal.
And in their momentum, Canada, that they're generating, they've actually taken an icing as that one just gets away from them. And we'll just have a pause as well, as we're just inside of 5 minutes. It's 2-0 for Canada in the third period over Republic of Korea.
Next, today's attendance is 663. Thank you all for coming out to support Para Ice Hockey today.
이번 경기에는 663명의 관중들이 와주셨습니다. 여러분들의 응원은 선수들에게
And action resumes as Canada, it's Bridges in a position here. He'll take this face-off. It's Lee Jung-sung, who he will leverage up against as the two just as much try to muscle each other to get control. And this is a dangerous position here for Canada in front of their own net as Armstrong, a little bit casual maybe. That's maybe not the designed play to come out in front of your own goal. Maybe didn't sense that the Korean player was right on him, but they've created a little bit of thrust here, have Korea, and applying that puck pressure. Canada for a moment will just buy a little bit of time and just move it into an area. And actually, it was Sorley who was trying to get to the puck. It gets upended. And remember, Sorley was involved in some of those heavy collisions against the Italians when they played. And now Sorley watches Armstrong come from a good position there. There you see the high hit of Sorley. Need to be careful, Canada. They don't want to take any penalties late in this hockey game to give opportunity to Korea.
Sorley's a physical player. He missed the last game after taking a hit late in the game against Norway. He's a physical player, likes to use his weight, throw his body around, and you see him doing it there.
And in the corner, it's Canada again, just making, oh, what a move by Hickey as he does the 360 Savardian spinorama and pretty much moonwalks his way out of that. And it looked as though he had something special in the offer to be able to finish that play. The way he was able to dance his way to a delightful position for Canada and force Korea to take an icing.
That was about as nifty a move as we've seen by anybody in this tournament. We remember the Billy Bridges toe drag. Nice assist earlier in this tournament a couple of games ago as well. But that was a 360. And then at that point, once you make a move that nice, you want to finish it off yourself, right? So Hickey starts going, and he's trying to get to the front of the net, but he ran out of real estate. But a brilliant move there by Hickey.
Dixon draws the attention of a couple Korean players just to close him down. And you see Dixon never seems flustered or that he's under duress or pressure. That was a feed intended for the wide side here. And it was McGregor who now receives it. And now McGregor, all of a sudden there's a pack of Koreans around him. Like white on rice. As here's a chance for, it's Kozolino, who is able to get the control of the puck. And Westlake.
2 minutes, 45 seconds to go here in the third period. And as you talked about earlier, Brent, the best thing Canada can do to keep the Koreans from scoring and making this game close is just keep the puck away from them.
And they are doing exactly that, just control possession. Easy goes it right now for Canada as they are totally in the driver's seat where they want to be. There's a shot from Dixon. I'm not sure if that doesn't just hit the outside of the post. And he's, again, just showing us his lethal range and his ability from distance. As across this line, this is Dixon, down low, McGregor, the feed. Kozolino is seeing if he couldn't get the service with the wraparound pass, but again, Korea doing so well again, every single one of their players almost just one-on-one matching up against the Canadians.
Great opportunity there, and it looked like it was the mask of the Korean goaltender, Gangneung, getting in the way of that shot as he wipes his brow. We'll take a look at the replay here. McGregor doing a good job using his right arm to fend off the defender. He's got the left to take the shot, and it goes square off the noggin of Gangneung. The Republic of Korea will take a timeout now. Not much time left in this game for them to try to find a way to get a goal. They'll need to get 2 if they want to send this thing to extra time.
Well, they need to make a concerted, good outlet pass, don't they? Just to try to get up the ice, and they need strength in numbers as Canada has been able to match them, been able to get back, and they just haven't had the puck on their stick. And when they have at times, they've played it the length of the ice. And right now it is a tall order. They need one, of course, to try to disrupt things, and then maybe the possibility of Gangneung being pulled from goal, and maybe there is a miracle in this one. And to say it's a miracle, I think is probably, well, it's not quite as big as that. I think they are capable of maybe scoring a goal here, Korea, but they haven't shown a whole lot of offensive shooting prowess in this hockey game.
Flashes, we've seen flashes of brilliance from this team. They created a neutral zone turnover, which led to the opportunity in the shot by the Rocket Man, Jung Si-won. It was ultimately called back for goaltender interference, but that was off a neutral zone turnover. They've had some fast break opportunities out of the defensive zone, and as you talk about, they'll need to find a way to get an outlet pass here as it gets rimmed around the boards, and this one will go for icing.
And that's just going to put a little bit of a wrinkle in their game plan, that they elect to just fire it the length of the ice on winning a face-off. So now again, they are in their own zone with 1:40 to go in regulation. And it really would need to be an almighty collapse for Canada from here, but they're needing to be sensible as Coach Ken Babbitt looks at his lineup, makes sure that they get the right instructions as to how he wants them to execute a game plan. But this is the type of play here where it's been turned over, and all of a sudden there is a race for the puck, and it's been won in and around. This is Jung Si-won creating confusion for the Canadians defensively. They've got to come back in a panic, but they do well. They collapse, and they have strength in numbers as here comes Westlake. Westlake with some speed, and he's not necessarily electing to try to be offensive. He just wants to control this puck in a place that's going to be advantageous for the Canadians, but it's been taken from them. As the clock is now ticking towards just a minute remaining in this third period. The in-game score clock as Dixon will just circle back around and wait for some support as Westlake is there, the captain, and he's just trying the puck management program right now. Here it comes a 2-on-1. Dixon and Cozzolino. This is just kind of broken from nothing. There's Dixon into the body again. Gangneung has made the save, and I'm not sure he entirely knew he had it, but it was in his midsection and long enough for the referee to blow the whistle.
It's a fantastic save there on a great opportunity from the Canadians. 42 seconds to go. Cozzolino looking pass all the way. Dixon, a great heads-up play to allow the puck to go underneath his sled. Gets it on his right-hand side and fires, looking to get one through the body of the goaltender, Gangneung. Unable to do it. The score remains 2-0. 42 ticks left on the clock.
And a good face-off win. It's Dixon again with the puck on his stick. And who else for Canada? He delays, he decoys with this offload, and now Bridges is just looking to see his best option and where he's best to place it. He's just going to keep it below the goal line here. Again, 200 feet away from his own goal and a long ways from Korea being difficult from this range. It looks as though Canada is going to find a way to manage their way through this hockey game. And Bridges maybe one last shot to be able to take it in. He elects to hold on to it and control it. They're just going to keep it to the outside, and Canada are going to stay undefeated after 4 days of play in this World Championship tournament, and they still are yet to concede a goal, and it's 2 late period goals at the end of the first and at the end of the second, nothing from the third, and they almost seemed happy with that. Maybe at a time, because they've scored so many goals, there has to be a little bit of a different complexion if they're going to ultimately win a gold medal in this tournament. They're going to have to learn to play a little bit of a different game too, and they ended up playing a different style today.
They did enough to get the win, and we're on day 4 of competition. Canada hasn't had a day off yet. They played all 4 days so far, so you wonder if there is a bit of fatigue perhaps. They scored 17 yesterday against Sweden, and the same type of offense, the same type of speed wasn't there in this game, but they did control the game for a vast majority of it. And even though the scoreline was 2-0, the Republic of Korea had some brilliant opportunities. You got the sense that Canada wasn't going to let this one get away from them. They do what they need to do to get the win, but full marks to the Republic of Korea for the brilliant game that they put forward. They had a couple of great opportunities, a disallowed goal, another breakaway opportunity, a really strong game, and nobody has pushed the Canadians as hard as the Republic of Korea managed to do this morning.
An outstanding defensive performance from Republic of Korea, and maybe we didn't see that entirely emphasized in their opening 2 games, although they only conceded a goal in each of those. It's just they played a certain sort of run and gun style and maybe a little bit chancy, a brand of pair of ice hockey. That wasn't the way they played today. They certainly were disciplined. They certainly matched up against the Canadians. They had a few chances. They weren't able to make it count. Corbin Watson equally very strong in goal for Canada in this one. So as we look at the lineup, I think for my money, Gangneung for Republic of Korea really should be acknowledged as the player of the game today.
It'd be hard to argue that. We get set up for the Player of the Game awards. Canada and the Republic of Korea. Gangneung was brilliant in goal number 31, the 43-year-old. For the Republic of Korea, a huge reason why this game remained 2-0 and was as close as it was. Canada had a lot of opportunities to generate a lot more offense. The goaltending was great, and the team defense was great as well. A lot of block shots here by the Koreans. Obviously, they're going for the victory every time that they come onto the ice in any game, but they have to be happy with the fact that they gave a really competitive effort against the Canadian team, kept this at a 2-0 score, certainly more than respectable.
And especially all the shots that were faced in goal by Gangneung, as we are just moments away from the presentation. And we'll just allow ourselves to listen into that live inside the venue. And it is Gangneung who's going to be honored with the Player of the Game award. And no surprise, as we've been talking, and of course we don't have a part to play in this one. It's only our own thoughts ahead of the selection, but I think if anybody were watching this game today, I think it was very clear at just the impact he had on the game today for the host nation.
He was great, and we heard the assistant coach talking before the game. He's a bit of a bigger body goaltender, and you want to fill up as much of the net as you can when you're playing a team as dynamic offensively as the Canadian team is. Certainly looked like the right call and goal, a phenomenal game.
And for the Canadians, really, Dixon had the puck on his stick for so much of the game. Whether or not he gets awarded, whether there's a little bit of a balance in how they distribute it, it'll be interesting to see who they select today. Maybe Cozzolino with that second goal, possibly McGregor with the first one. It is Cozzolino who got that second goal, and at the time it looked as though that might be enough for Canada to push on and maybe score a few more. At 1-0, it was a little precarious for them to think that they were going to win a game 1-0. They're just one shot away. A second goal gave them that insurance and that little bit of comfort, a little bit of breathing room to allow them to play their game, continue to take some chances offensively, and know that they weren't entirely with their backs against the wall. But again, those 2 late goals, really interesting how Canada were able to muster that late performance, particularly off of those face-offs and not necessarily on the rushes as they had done previously in much of their scoring throughout the first 3 games. And now it'll be the national anthem for Canada. And there you see again, of course, the shaking of hands between the two opponents today. Always respectful and very sportsmanlike, and could have very well been with the way with Republic of Korea playing that game last night against Norway and playing against the very stern opposition today in Canada. They could have got frustrated today, maybe been a little bit more ill-disciplined, as maybe they have taken some penalties and they didn't play that game. They found a way to keep sharp and to keep sensible about this game, and they kept a good discipline about their approach throughout the entirety of those 45 minutes.
It was a solid effort by the Republic of Korea. Canada getting the 2-0 win. Obviously, Canada heavily outshooting the Republic of Korea, but a great goaltending performance, as we saw. A goaltender was named player of the game for the Korean side, and for the Canadians, they did enough to get the victory. It wasn't as dominant a performance as we saw in the 17-0 win over Sweden, but they did have a number of good opportunities, and if it wasn't for the Korean goaltender, things could have been a lot worse.
They could have been, and I think probably a possible score line of 4, 5, or 6, as we say, as we look back now at the match highlights. And there really was some great individual saves made, but we also have to give full credit to the way the defense played in front. But this was off the early stages. Billy Bridges with a shot in on goal, and then Bridges makes a play, or actually gets a pass out from Dixon on that play. But there was a number of chances where maybe they weren't quite as sharp today, Canada, although they did generate a lot. That was the disallowed goal, and that was a difficult one for Korea, because how different would have this game been if that at the time, because that would have been the lead goal of the hockey game. Remember, it was still scoreless at this point because it was just a late goal at the end of the first period from Tyler McGregor, who just shot the puck there. So Cozzolino, he was responsible for the second goal of the game. There certainly was a lot of puck movement, but the way that the Korean defense responded to the Canadians, and this is the goal, this is Bridges, who does the no-look kind of behind the back pass, and it's picked up by McGregor, left-handed shot, and it's just an absolute roof job as he just destroys the back of the Korean goal. And Gangneung, for the first time, looked as though he was human in goal.
He did, and Cozzolino was named the player of the game. For the Canadian side, it was not only the goal that he scored, as you take a look at it right here, a big rebound in front of the net as a point shot from Bowden actually hits McGregor, and the puck bounces out to a wide open Cozzolino. Good hockey sense there to be in the right place at the right time and hunt down that loose puck. But it was not only just the goal that he scored there. He had a number of great opportunities. He set up a couple of great opportunities as well. He was one of the better forwards, certainly, for this Canadian team. And on this day, maybe it's Cozzolino bringing it. On another day, it could be McGregor or Westlake. On another day, it could be Bridges. You got Dixon on the back end and Bowden. I mean, it never ends in terms of options for Canada.
No, they come at you, and of course, at no point did Canada ever slow up with its approach to today's hockey game. They kept trying to score, kept trying to give themselves a further increased score line, but you have to give credit to the way Korea played in front of them. So it's no discredit to the way Canadians approached this. Maybe 4 games in 4 days starts to pay its toll, and of course, Republic of Korea did have a day off already, but they played last night, and it all balances out at the end of the tournament as we look across the match stats in this one. 32 shots for Canada, just the 5, and of those 5, there was at least 1, if 2, possibly 3 real goal-scoring opportunities where, if in fact Corbin Watson wasn't sharp, maybe this game changes and is entirely different at the end of 45 minutes.
Oh, no question. There was the disallowed goal, which we've talked about already. There was a breakaway opportunity as well in the second period. Only the 5 shots on goal, but those were quality opportunities. And again, that was how the Koreans were going to generate their opportunities in this game, was by forcing turnovers and getting quick up the ice, by trying to have some quick outlet passes out of the defensive zone. And there are those quick strike opportunities, so they did lead to some pretty quality opportunities. Watson wasn't called on very often, but when he was called on, he was strong. He ends up pitching a shutout here for the Canadians, who have still yet to allow a goal in this tournament. As we'll take a look at the tournament standings now, as we are through 3 complete days and 1 game here on day 4. Canada sitting in top spot with 4 wins in 4 games. They've got that huge goal differential, the only team in the tournament that has not allowed a goal yet. But the Americans have only played twice. They are up next. The Americans getting set to take on Sweden, who sit in that 7th spot. So likely the United States will move to 3-0 unless Sweden can come up with a superhuman performance in this game.
Well, it's going to need to be. And of course, as we talk about, it's actually coming up here. Yes, the Americans in that game, they're going to need to continue to keep rolling. They're going to want to keep rolling. And they are capable of putting the offensive pressure on any team that they play in this tournament. So here in day 4, of course, we have that final, we have a break day tomorrow, which everybody's going to benefit from. And it's exactly what everybody probably needs at this point. So today is a peak day for all the teams. Make hay while the sun shines. Get the maximum points on the scoreboard, because it's really going to shape out anywhere between 3 through to 7 is a slippery slope. You want to be in that top 5, and I think there's a number of teams still in this tournament. Nothing is decided by any right at any point right now.
Well, the Canadians as well, coming off the silver medal finish at the last World Championship in 2015 in Buffalo, New York. They lost to the Americans 3-0 in that gold medal game. They obviously want to come in here and send a message to everybody in this tournament that they are an improved team, that they are a team that will likely, hopefully, be favored to win a gold medal, at least in their own minds. So 4-0, a perfect start for them as they head into that break day that you talk about. Massive goal differential as well. They haven't allowed a goal. Things really could not have gone any better for the Canadians in the first 4 days of competition. And for the Republic of Korea, 2 wins, 1 loss. They have to be very, very impressed and very happy with their effort through 3 games.
Well, Republic of Korea have been outstanding to get those 2-1 victories, and now when you can see 2 goals against, that's all they've allowed in the 3 games they've played is 4 goals here at World Championship level. I think we're all a little bit equally surprised at how capable they are defensively and what they've been able to do in this tournament, and equally how opportunistic and how efficient they have been offensively when the opportunities have presented themselves. So full credit to them. Unfortunately, just come up a little bit short against a very strong team today. And so we have a few of the match stats here today, or rather this is of course the next match coming up, and that's the puck drop. It is United States taking on Germany at 3 o'clock local time. That's our next match here on day number 4, so make sure to stay with us. We'll have more coverage then, and of course the Ice Hockey Championships continue, and the action now gets thick and fast and more important as we determine at the business end of the tournament who is in fact going to be going through to compete for medals and of course those qualification places from or into the Paralympic Games here in Pyeongchang.
Absolutely. I misspoke a little earlier. The United States taking on Germany. That is our next game that we will have for you, and we expect a good game here. The United States, a powerhouse so far in this tournament, 2 wins in 2 games, and the Germans have proved to be very resilient in the games that they play, and they certainly have some very capable players. So we hope to see you then for the United States and Germany coming up shortly, and we thank you for watching our presentation of Canada versus the Republic of Korea.